This is a hop flower or hop cone. We're going to be talking about hops today, how they grow and the harvest. I'm with Gail Goshi from Goshi Farms and down in the valley here. And this is your 102nd harvest.
It is.
That's such a wonderful dynasty.
It is.
Unbelievable.
It's wonderful, yes.
And you know, I have friends that have these on their arbors, so it's a great home gardening plant too.
It is. It is. It grows very fast, and so it's fun in that way. Just I mean, as a hop farmer, I'm able to see how much a hop plant grows in one day because hops twine themselves around the string or whatever you would give them to work themselves around. They do that at night, but they grow during the day. So on a warm early summer day, you'll be able to see that your hop plant, your vine, the head of it has left the trellis or the string that it's growing on by probably 8 inches to 10 inches. And then when you come back the next morning, you'll see that the head of the vine is perfectly flat against that trellis.
So it'll just do that overnight.
It does.
And it goes right, always to the right.
Yes, that's correct. If you were to train it counterclockwise, it wouldn't be able to find its way up the trellising. Yeah.
Your crew's here doing something, they're cutting the vines off right now. Right.
The vines have been cut below and by hand with machetes, and then there's a mechanical cutter that's cutting up at wire height.
Wow, look at that.
And so the vines are just falling into the trailers, and then when they're going to be transported to the mechanical harvesting machine. And when they go into the machine, they'll actually be hanging upside down from how you see them in the field.
Okay. Wow. And so then it goes through that process. I know that the machinery has been developed over so many years, and there's conveyors and blowers and fans.
Right. Yeah, the machine itself was developed in the 1940s.
Wow, a long time ago.
Exactly. And so we have, through the years, we've sort of beefed the process up, but it's pretty much stayed the same. And what was developed then was working off the concept that hops are a round cone and leaves that we want to separate out are flat. So there are screens that fans blow against, and hop cones dribble down those, and leaves get blown flat and taken on into the trash. And then there's also a series of what we call dribble belts, and so hops literally dribble down them, and the leaves get carried on. And what ends up with the stripped vine and the leaves is then chopped into about 6 inches of piece, and that makes an excellent compost.
Oh, so you put those back on your fields?
Absolutely.
Well, that's just great.
Yeah.
I know we're going to go see that process and go see your drying room, so let's go over.
Great.
Gail, it looks like we're in the attic of a barn.
Yeah, well, you're in the hop dryer.
Okay.
So we're standing next to a hop drying floor that we have just filled this morning, and the hops have been laid in at about 3 feet.
Wow, that's really deep.
They're laid onto a wire mesh floor because as we start the dryers, it's forced air that is going to be drying these hops for about 6.5 hours at 140 degrees.
Wow. And so you said about 70% moisture content right now in these hops?
That's correct. And we dry them down to about 9%. And so as we get close to the approximate time when we think the floor is going to be dry, whoever is in charge of the drying, which is myself in the daytime, comes through and takes a handful. These are, of course, just fresh hops. But as they dry, I'll be able to take them in my fingers and just feel not just the cone, outside cone, but the inner core as well, to see what, just by hand, what moisture content that is. And so it takes a lot of practice.
I bet.
Because there is inconsistencies in the floor just because of how the hops might come in. If they're coming in the early morning, they'll have dew on them, so that'll change things. So it's a real art to be able to do that by hand, and it's a challenge, and actually it's fun.
And from there it goes to baling and packaging?
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. In order to be able to deliver the bales to the different breweries, there's 17. We're growing these hops for Anheuser-Busch.
Wow.
So there's 17 breweries in the United States that they're being shipped to. They're compacted into a bale that weighs 200 pounds, and then that bale is then shipped out.
So we can be drinking this beer in a short time?
Absolutely.
So Portland area beer, Willamette Valley beer.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, this is just so fascinating. Thanks for sharing it, and have a wonderful harvest for you and your family.
Thank you. Thanks,
Take care
Judy.
now.
Bye-bye.